Hi guys, YuGiOhSmurf here, and today we're going to be talking about the average cost that it makes to make a custom deck, a custom Yu-Gi-Oh deck within Yu-Gi-Oh. So there's kind of two steps in each deck. It's actually the cards you use for the deck, and then the supplies you use to keep those cards safe. And just to make sure I'm not repeating myself over and over again, we're just going to go over the stuff that you're going to use to keep those cards safe and the general cost of those items. So first off, you have card sleeves. They can range from $3 to $6 depending on the type of card sleeves you like or just the quality in which you get them. Also, there are playing mats. You can go anywhere from using paper pillowcases or buying an official decked out shiny one. Those can range from $0 to $5 to $30, so it's kind of a bigger range for the playmat, but that depends on what you like and what you're comfortable with. Also, there are deck boxes. Deck boxes range from $3 to $10 depending on how fancy or protective you want your deck to be with inside of the deck box. So just to bring all those numbers together, the average that you're looking at is somewhere around $32 ish, depending on, if you go cheaper, obviously it'll be cheaper, or if you go more expensive, it'll be more expensive. So with the actual decks, like how much does a custom deck actually cost, we're going to look at two kind of examples. One example is of a deck that is still decent in competitive play and can still win, that has tons and tons and tons of reprints, versus a deck that's really new, that came out in the last set, and that has all of its stuff in a really high rarity that is actually semi-hard to get from packs. The first deck, which is going to be the highly reprinted cards, is the deck we're going to be looking at is Lightsworn. So currently on the screen you should be able to see just a generic deck list that I put together that runs in a Lightsworn Chaos type build. And as you're seeing, you're looking at the cards, a lot of these cards actually were reprinted in the Realm of Light structure deck, in which you could basically just buy 3 of those structure decks and have a very nice, very good working Lightsworn deck. And at the bottom you can see that it's like $52 or $55 is the lowest, to like $112, $120 being the highest. And this is actually a cheap Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and you might be thinking, the fuck? It's $50. That's not cheap. Well, actually it kind of is for a very competitive, very tested, reliant deck. And in fact, this deck can be even more expensive depending on the type of quality or rarity that the Lightsworns are. Right now all of them are common and therefore are at their cheapest. Some of them get up to like $10 a pop, and it's quite frankly ridiculous. But for this deck, $50, more like $60 is what you can expect to be spending on for a Lightsworn deck that will work decently well. If you tweak it and add other cards that could potentially have higher price, you're looking at a pretty confident deck to go to regionals or win your locals-ish consistently, maybe. I don't know, it depends on your locals and just your skill also. So now for a deck that, is super new, super expensive, high rarity, hard to get, we're going to look at Sylvans. Almost all the Sylvan cards are super rare, ultra rare, or higher, and their prices are super freaking expensive. As we're going down the list, you're noticing that cards are already like $8, $5, $15, $10 just consistently, and you're going to run multiple of those over and over again in the Sylvan deck. And just keep going through this deck list, and the cards just keep getting more expensive as you go down. And really, it should be even more expensive with some of the staples like Effect Vieler, which is at $10 a pop, that pretty much every deck list I've seen runs 3 of, so that's even an extra $30 that I'm excluding from this list because I thought it was unnecessary. But depending on your playstyle, depending on if you think you need it, you could add those and make the deck more expensive. As we're continuing now to the end of the list, you can see that the max price for this deck is going to be like $240, which is just, that's scary. The average cost of a custom Yu-Gi-Oh deck, not including the supplies that I said before, so for each of these numbers, about $60 for Lightsworns and about $150 for Sylvans. You can add about $30 to each of those prices. So you're looking at $90, $100 for a Lightsworn deck and like almost $200 for a Sylvan. Don't let it discourage you new players. You don't have to have these new top tier decks or anything like that. You can go ahead and make a deck with whatever you want and make it playable to have some fun with you and your friends. However, if you're looking into it to be very competitive, you will eventually have to start dishing out some money to get the better cards. That's just unfortunately how the game of Yu-Gi-Oh works. New players, don't worry. You don't have to have these cards. There are plenty of different versions that are slightly worse that pretty much do the same thing. So that way you can still have that intricacy of playing, but just with a less effective card if you just want to have fun with your friends. This is YGOSmurf with the average cost of decks. Hopefully you've liked it. I apologize for my voice. I am still slightly sick. As you can see, I'm now in my college dorm room. Woohoo! Back to college. Homework. No. Anyways, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Go ahead and post some of the amounts you've spent on your custom Yu-Gi-Oh decks in the comments below, so that way other people can see. Don't forget to include the name of the deck or a short description if the name doesn't help out with that deck's, what's in it. So, subscribe to me if you deem me worthy. Have a wonderful day, guys.